Well, welcome. Welcome to this module where we're going to provide you with guidance to use the web-based ASII. So what are we going to do? First, we'll study the module and in light of visuals, but then we're actually going to use it. All right? We have some assumptions, though. You've read the manual thoroughly. You're very familiar with both administration and evaluation of the CRI. And you are also very comfortable with accessing and navigating thoughtfulliteracy.com. All right, so when you go into thoughtfulliteracy.com, here is the main menu. What we're going to do first is take you step by step through visuals with how to use the online program. But then related to this will be the data file, how to upload and save. All right, so we have two goals here. When you enter the web-based, this is the first page that you see. And what you have to do first is input the basic information about the student and the examiner. Use the drop-down menu to input all levels of word lists that were used. All right, this has been done. We inputted data about the student and the date, etc. And we've also inputted data pertaining to the word list. What do we do now? We're ready to go to the stories, the type of stories you used for the comprehension. And that's here. Either you select narrative or information depending on which you used. All right, we clicked narrative, and notice here you have all of the table of contents, all stories listed here. We're going to hold off on the level menu, but we will get to that. For now, we are coming to the fourth story, and I'm going to click on the vacation, and instantly the rubric appears. So what I'm going to do is first identify how the passage was used, orally versus silent. And when it's orally done, I'm going to input here the data pertaining to miscues. After that, I'll put the comprehension, whether it was correct, half, or incorrect. Then I'll go to the retelling. All right, so here we have it. We put in oral. We put in our miscues, and we've put in the comprehension. We're ready now to come to retelling. What happens when I click retelling help? Instantly I'm taken to the rubric. And what you're going to do is input the scores, full, half, or no, and you're going to identify with yes or no in terms of a personal response. Then you'll calculate. All right, we did that. We inputted the scores, and now we want to calculate. So we click this on after we've inputted scores. Simply click and look at that. Instantly, you have the retelling score provided for you of a 2. We're going to focus here, folks, because this is important. You now can go back should you choose, which rarely you need to do that because you check as you're doing this, and there's no basis for the majority of the times other than that you become conscious of an error. But what you must do is enter the retelling score, right? The computer will not do that. So you have to remember this too. So that's important information 1. Remember the retelling score. Here's the second bit. You see up here? You have to click out of this subfile. So you're in a subfile here. You must click out of subfiles. But guess what? You see this? ASII Online? Never click out, because it would take you completely out of this process of inputting scores. Never click out of the critical reading. So these two are files that you never delete. But here you would click out, and notice I come back and I input the retelling score that I remember. Now that the oral data is all complete, I'm ready to go and do silent. So I click on the narrative passage, and this time I'm going to go to the science fair. That was the story that was used for this student. Click it on, and notice here. We did the one, we told how, and notice there will be no miscue analysis. Why? It was read silently. But then we've put the data in. All right, we also did our retelling help. We remembered our score and put it in. So now we have both oral and silent data complete. What do we have to do? We have to view that recapitulation. So I click here, and now I have it. All right, so I can either view this as a PDF or as a Word document. It's wise to do both and save both. All right, here's narrative, and here right underneath it, informational. Now this is what the recapitulation record looks like. But notice you're in a subfile. You will click out of this. You saw here the data automatically produced, the word list scores automatically calculated and included, as well as the comprehension scores and the average, all automatically done. All right, so we're going to click out of recapitulation record, and we're going to want to save. Very important, folks. Notice here, this big R means right click. Right click that, and you will be able to save every bit of the information. All right, so that should you, after discussing a student's protocol with a colleague or a supervisor, you see you need to change it, you can go back and get that. Remember, we said we would talk about that. So what are some don't forgets? First of all, you never click out of the ASII Online nor the critical reading. That's a no-no, right? Something else. What if you accidentally inputted the wrong story? You selected carelessly. When you discover that, you see this? You just click skip, and the data will not be included in the recapitulation record at all. One other thing. Here we right-click to save the data file. Should we ever need to go back, we will look at how that happens. All right, we're ready now for second phase. Let's actually do this together. All right, so we're going to click on to thoughtfulliteracy.com. Here we are. I'm going to quickly get in. All right, and here we are. Now, what I'm going to do, remember we said we're going to go here? I have already placed a file in here. And I'm going to click, get the data that I just did. And now I am going to say, choose a file. Instantly, where I saved it comes up, and here we have it, Billy Model. Highlight Billy Model, open. So this says I finished first step, but here's your second. Upload it. So when we upload it, it says the computer received it, the program received it. So what do? Click here to create the ASII web page. So we're clicking here, the calculation. See that? Success, you can now access by clicking here. Whoops. Click here. All right, it's making me log in again. And here we have it. So I have the basic information about Billy. I have the word list. Now, for this, I've already put in the third grade oral and silent, the fourth grade oral and silent, and we have the fifth grade oral and silent. So it's all inputted. What do we need now? We need to identify and insert the independent, instructional, and frustration level. But remember, you cannot do that until you have first studied your recapitulation record. So I click that on and I watch as the data is calculated. Remember, this is where I would save it by right-clicking, but this is where I will get to see the recapitulation record. And I'm sure it isn't as large, and this is something that I can't manipulate and increase the view site. Well, maybe I can. Here I go. Here we go. So I have an average of 100, 77.5, and 57. So this is an easy decision. I'm just going to have independent third, instructional fourth, and frustration fifth. So I need to get out of my recapitulation record. All right. Up here, I'm ready to say third, fourth, and fifth. Now, I know from the manual that the fluency scores are only obtained for the instructional level. So I click my fluency here and I identify the score. Now, remember, if I forget, I go to my scoring rubric and I input the scores that I gave for the use of this student's oral reading. All right? And now I accept. The score is 1.8. All right? So now I'm going to go back. I'm going to accept. And I am going to click out of my fluency rubric, remembering I have a score of 18. So I come here and I click my score of 18. Now I am ready to go and see my recapitulation record, that it is completely finished. All right? And what I will see here now is my levels are all included in terms of the summary data for third, fourth, and fifth. This will allow me to analyze and write up that report. All right, so for now I am going to just click out of my thoughtful literacy and I'm going to say, wow, I went from I don't know that I could do that to, hey, I can. Hope you feel confident to begin experimenting with the ASII on web-based program. For now, we're going to say goodbye, but we will see you very soon.